and then I go back to YouTube.
Okay, is that not starting YouTube already?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I'll just start introducing ourselves. How's that?
Yeah, I think.
Hello and welcome. What's up?
I think it's working.
Okay, I think we're good. Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for coming your first time. It's great to have you here. And hello everybody online. Arnold and Ben in the Ben's in Columbia. Arnold, where are you at? Are you snowbirding? Are you about to head back sometime soon? You're back in Syracuse. Okay, Syracuse, New York. So good to have you with us, Arnold. Anyway, this is South Carolina Linux Users Group. Here in the upstate Carolina Linux Users Group, and in Columbia with Ben, it's the Columbia Linux Users Group. Welcome to everyone. Glad you're here tonight. And tonight we're going to talk. Ben's going to give us his part 2 of Linux from scratch, and I will get us started with a small thing that I discovered this past week, which I'm going to be calling Today AI Learned. It's a little bash script thing that I discovered that I'm pretty sure was AI generated, and how I fixed it. So I'm going to start sharing my screen by going over to this. Is that on the Jitsi the correct screen? Or can you tell which window you're looking at?
I'm looking at my own. But either way, you are sharing your screen. So.
Okay. All right. So Ben, let me ask you then. You can see the script that I've got here, starting with shebang bin bash.
Oh, hold on, Jace. I dropped out again for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay.
I should have good bandwidth here, but maybe I don't today. So let me. I mean, YouTube says we're live streaming.
Jitsi says streaming in progress.
Yep, we're good, I think.
Okay. Can you see my shared screen, my script in Vim?
Yes, I can.
Sir?
Yes, I can.
Okay, fantastic. Then I'll just get started. And so here's a little snippet of the problem that we were having. And I commented out the actual first line of the code. And you can see here it's just doing a Postgres dump of the database, piping it to gzip to compress it, and then copying that up to AWS's S3, right? I'm not going to actually do that because then I'd need to log in and all that sort of thing. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to assume that they all run and emulate this script by running true, pipe to true, pipe to true. The problem that we were having, so this was a great little script, and there was more to it than this. So essentially, we wanted to back up our database, right? And this is how we did it. We did a dump, a zip, and then upload to S3. And it worked great for a long time until it stopped working. And then I was called in and said, why is it not working? And I came across here at the bottom the error codes that I was seeing in the logs. And this is a very strange looking error code. Square bracket any urinary operator expected X PG dump failed. So I went, when it was working to point before that, looked in the logs before that, and it was still there, those same error messages. I'm like, okay, well that's another reason I think that it was AI generated, because no one actually looked at the logs. The other reasons that I think that this was AI generated is because it's got the Unicode X here. It's got 2-space indentation. It's got single square brackets for tests, which are, that is shell and bash and acceptable by bash. But if you're going to do a bash script, you may as well use bash as built-in test command. And then it was using pipe status, which is specifically a bash-ism. I'm going to call it bash-ism. It's a variable that's used specifically by bash called pipe status. And I happened to come across it years ago when I was reading the man page. I'm like, oh, that'll be helpful one day. And I never used it since. And I rarely see it in any shell scripts. But, AI, of course, would just I feel like it would just come up with that naturally. So, and also knowing who wrote the script. Bash is not really an important language, right? So, but it's a nice glue language to get something done, like backing up the database when it's not important how it's actually done. So
Backing up databases are important.
that's not important. It's just, you just throw it together, and if it works, then it works, and you're done with it. Well, so the AI was smart enough to know that you want to check that all the different steps worked correctly. And so I looked at that, and all right, so let me explain. The variable pipe status is a Bashism. It's only in Bash. I think there's something similar in Corn Shell, maybe called pipe status, but it's in all lowercase. And what pipe status is it gives you the exit code of each of the programs of a pipeline, as an array of. It's an array variable. So in this particular case, pipe status 0 is the exit code of pgdump. Pipe status 1 is the second command, gzip. That's the exit code of that. And then pipe status 3 is the exit code of the AWS command, right? So normally you have and now I've lost my thing. Whenever you run a command, let's say echo, and that's in all caps because my escape is at my caps lock. When you say something like hello, it'll do that. But when you look at the $? That's the exit code of the previous command, right? In this case, 0, which is good, meaning success. 0 means success. So it's kind of backwards. 0 means success. In other words, no error. But whenever something fails, then you get a non-zero. And that's helpful because you can actually narrow down what the specific type of error was. So usually whenever you see an error code of 1, that's some sort of failure. It's a failure at exit that was something. It's something bad happened. But if you were to get an exit code of, say, 21, you could look up and see what the exit code 21 means and say, oh, okay, I need to do such and such to my command. There are 2 commands that have been in Unix for years, which are called, one is true, and its exit code, as you might expect, is 0. There's another command called false, and its exit code, anyone?
1.
Is 1. That's right. So the 2 most simple programs in the Unix file system, and again, it's in the file system. If I say, which false am I using? Oh, it's a built-in. But I know for a fact that bin false, if I spell it correctly, is there. And so is bin true. And that's for all my other shells that don't have it as a built-in. So I can run an in command and then run true and false. And those, like I say, those are the simplest commands. So true exits correctly, success, and false correctly exits failure, if that makes sense. So they're simple little commands to just mostly use for debugging. You can use it like in a while loop also, or as an exit step. Anyway, going a little bit off track there, and so I apologize for that. But you can see here the exit code, the $? is the exit code of the last command. So it changed. So the value of $? changed here between running true and running false. So every time you run a command, there's a new exit code, and that's the exit code of the last command. Now the problem is when you use a pipeline, you have multiple commands, only the last one gets changed. Only the exit code of the last command in that pipeline is what $? is. So Bash has this variable called pipe status that is a Bash array variable, which most shells don't have array variables. They just have variables that are strings. Now, that being said, so you've got, in this particular case, I've got a pipeline with 3 things being piped one to another. Pipe status of 0, 1, and 2, which is the first, second, and third, respectively. And then I get this error code, line 10, which I'll go to line 10, is the LF type status 1 not equal 0. So that's what failed in this particular instance. But if I run this command, and I'll do that here with the original, I get the same error code. But that doesn't make sense because PG dump, and it's not actually PG dump, but in this case, true, we know that true is not going to fail. It's true. It exits with a 0. So what's going on here? What happened? Well, so if this were a bash best practices, I would have, instead of the single square bracket test command, I would use the built-in bash test command. And to be fair, the single square bracket is a bash built-in, but its behavior is like that of the original square bracket test. If that doesn't make sense, let me explain that. If I say which test, there's a command that's called test, and in this particular case in bash, it is a shell built in. But I also know that historically speaking, and still here for other shells, is a command called test. There's also another command called square bracket, and it exists in the file system for historical reasons and for other shells that don't have it built in. These two commands are the same command, essentially. They take the exact same arguments, with the exception of the square bracket needs a trailing in square bracket. And just like test needs a space after it for it to be a command, square bracket also needs a space. So if you ever see a shell script where the square brackets, there's missing a space, that's why it's failing, because it's looking for a command called square bracket, whatever else is beside of it. But that's not the case in here. I was kind of thinking that might be what it is, but it's not. There is the space that's there, and that's correct. So, okay, well, if it were following bash best practices, use the built-in that's double square bracket, because it has a lot more capability. I'm just going to check. Yeah, there's not such thing. But if I do a which on 2 square brackets, that's a shell keyword. Oh, it's not even a built-in, it's a keyword. Okay. So, but the square brackets has got a lot more capability. And if I search for it in the man page, here, returns the status of 1 or 0, just like the regular test command, but it has other stuff to it, and it's preferred to be used, right? It doesn't have these sorts of things. So, so what I did was I rewrote this using that, the double square brackets. And I also got rid of the Unicode characters, and just for the purposes of debugging, said first, second, and third failed, so that I can have a little more understanding of what's going on. When I run this, then I get, that's with the changes to tests. First fail. Okay, so it doesn't have the same exit. Well, I mean, it has some of the same problems. If PG dump failed, first failed, that's the same error, but it doesn't give me the unary operator expected. So that's the benefit of having square brackets. Okay, the double square brackets. All right, so we're still failing at first. In other words, PG dump failed. But we know that PG dump didn't fail because that's true. So what's going on here now? Then I realized, instead of using double square brackets, I could, because it's an arithmetic comparison, and I don't like the -ne of test, I decided to use the double parenthesis, which is an arithmetic evaluation. So that's here, 2, arithmetic evaluation. So I changed the double square brackets to the double parens, and I used the bang equals for a not equal to. And that got me a little further along to understanding. And of course, I changed exit codes from just a plain 1 to actually telling me which one's the one that failed when I look at the error code of the exit. And I also had that in the past bit. So when I run this now, backup to the arithmetic evaluation. Okay, double parenthesis, not equal syntax error. Operand expected. So the error token is not equal to 0. Well, there should be something not equal to 0. That's what it's expecting. Okay, so that indicates to me now that we're failing right here because this variable is nothing. Now, why would that be the case? So eventually I came to the conclusion and the understanding that the if command takes a program, any program, the majority of the time you're going to be using the test command, the square bracket or double square bracket or parentheses, but it runs the command and checks the exit code of that command to see whether to go to the then or the else or the LF in this case. Okay, so that helps me to understand now that pipe status is being rewritten every time it checks pipe status. What failed here? What failed? So this actually looked at the third true, the exit status of the third true, and said, okay, it is equal to 0. Then it went here, said that this is not evaluated. This is nothing. That's not a thing because you don't have a multiple pipe thing in your double parens. You only ran one command. That's what failed for this command. So this is not equal to 0. Aha. Okay, now I understand what's going on. What I need to do now, and what I ended up doing, is instead of using pipe status multiple times, you have to capture pipe status once as an array variable, and then test that new array variable multiple times. And that's what I did here in my final version, which is X. And so RC, which is what I've been using for years as return command, return code rather, I use the paren, which is one way of saying this is going to be, this list of space separated strings are part of an array. And so I just put in pipe status with the @ which is all of them, as a list of space separated strings. In this case, it's going to be true, true, and true. Or, well, okay, so I didn't change that. And now that I've done that, I'm going to change this to true, which is the original. And I'm going to run it and see what happens. Back up X, final, all passed. Fantastic. That's exactly what I was looking for. Now, because one of the steps change, let me check. I'm going to check true in each one of them. Change that first true to false, and let's see what happens. The first failed. Good. Let me do that again. True, pipe to false. Pipe to true. And I should expect what? The second failed, exactly. Yes, fantastic. And kind of a weird way of doing this, I know, but you follow what I'm saying. First true, second true, third false, which is equivalent to my AWS copy command failing, where the PG dump and the gzip passed. And when I write that, go over here, rerun the program, the third failed. There we go. So that's what we needed to do. I thought for myself, I learned a lot. I thought it might be edifying for everyone here to know about the pipe status bash environment variable that is an array variable. And I guess that's about it. Any questions on that particular topic? Did anyone learn anything?
You said you had this script running for a while and just all of a sudden stopped running.
It stopped. It started failing. Yeah.
And you use pipe status.
Pipe status was a lot. Yeah. And like I say,
Did you upgrade like
if when I look, so at the point that so I looked at the most recent log, right, and it gave me that error message, right? Here at the bottom, line 10 dash any urinary operator expected, and that was in the log. I'm like, I don't understand. PG dump failed, but
cron gun?
right, yes.
Did your cron shell change?
Well, so it's running in cron in a container on another system. Chill. I don't.
Some haven't changed.
So I don't know exactly what failed or why it stopped working. Yes, but like I say, when I looked at the log, I saw that, and as I went back into history, even to where it was working, I kept getting this error message. I'm like, okay, so that's not really the actual error right now. And I still had to tackle the right now problem. So I never actually tackled the right now. I tackled the logs saying this message. So in answer to your question, we figured out what was wrong with PG dump. It had to, whatever sort of problems, but or AWS, I don't even remember. We changed our bucket name or something like that.
Yeah.
But that was the next step into fixing what was actually not this problem.
Go back to the prompt.
Yeah.
Read false. And then,
Enter.
echo dollar question.
Another question mark.
Then echo dollar question again. You'll get a 0. That's
Yes.
why you gotta capture your
Because the echoing of the dollar sign questions succeeded. Yes, exactly. And that's the other problem is sometimes I find myself running echo dollar sign question mark multiple times or capturing dollar sign question multiple times, expecting it to be the same as last time. It's not going to be the same as last time. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the result of just the last one. So
I didn't realize if and test and those were actual commands. Like, I assume that was just built into the language.
if is built into Bash, but if expects a program. So you can say if grep and something, and that's checking if that's what something is in the thing that you're grepping
Even
for.
as a built-in, it's still clearing out the error code, I guess.
Well, so whenever you go to the next if or the next step after the if or inside the then
Yeah.
or whatever, or inside the that's your next command.
Yeah.
So in my script, the first if is running this command, the test command. The result of that
Like
test
like
command.
if AWS S3LS, that is a command that could have run.
Yeah. So in the original AWS S3 had some sort of exit code, whatever. And whatever that would have been an actual number, one most probably, one not equal to 0, and then test that and give me the result of that, and then the command test. What was the result of that is what goes here now. If looks for that, the result of the last test that was run. So, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I didn't realize. I mean, it makes sense. I didn't realize. I assumed it was a language construct, not just commands.
Right. Yeah. And
Which I guess explains.
and obviously why the AI seem to think that as well.
Yeah. I've always felt like the semicolon just feels odd in that statement, and I guess that's why it's there. Is because you're
It's the
actually
end of the
running a
command that F is testing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be an argument to that command. Then would be an argument to that command, is what I'm saying. Yeah. All right. I think that's probably enough. I'll let Ben, I'll let you take over from here. And you're doing part 2 of Linux from scratch.
Thanks, Chase. Let me turn my camera on. Am I on? Oh, wait, there we go. Gotta press the camera, the button harder. Okay. So let me remember how to share my how do I share my screen again? There we go. Um, yeah, let's go with Torrance Street. All right, here we go. Okay, so the last time we left um, Linux from scratch, we had kind of diverted off the main Linux from scratch into a gist that I had found on GitHub that made a lot of that made the whole Linux from scratch process a lot shorter than the main one. The main one will take you every hour you got on a whole weekend to accomplish. Um, yeah, 8 hours a day, all day, from morning Saturday to evening Sunday. And I think it was getting a bit much to for me just reading all that text and just to swim up to the surface and get to zero. So this time, let's just start off with the gist and see what it's doing. And because I did get it to work after a couple debugging sessions, and uh, and it basically does the same thing that um, that the real Linux from scratch does, which the real Linux from scratch takes special pains to build an entire environment um, with all your build tools and everything in a separate directory that doesn't have anything to do with where your build directory is going. And so that's what this gist is. And let's see, okay, I'm gonna switch over. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, we got you.
All right. So to give credit where credit's due, this is the original gist from Hex 4248. And gists are just, I did this thing. I don't really want to maintain this project. I just want to put it out there if somebody wants to use it. And he did so, and I thank him. And then at the end, I had some comments about how to actually get this thing to work. Um, you got to put int in front of some stuff, and then you got to uncheck something in the busy box, make menu config to get it to work. And he never changed it, which is completely understandable. It just is just throw it over the wall and everybody else can use it. So I made a clone of the project. Well, you can't really clone a gist, but I just copied it raw and pasted it in here as my project now. Pretty sure you can do that. So thank you, Mr. Hex 4248, and we'll start from here. And yeah, I know this is a Linux user group thing, but if you're on a Mac and you want to do Linux things, then this is how you do it. So, and most of the time you're on Windows and you want to do Linux things and in a VM. Well, this time it's Mac. All right. So the prerequisites are you got to get to your terminal, nice terminal, and do a brew install, QEMU, Docker, and Git. And so if I do that, it should. Oh, wait a minute. I'll just copy it. There we go. It should just tell me that I already got this stuff installed. It might offer to update some stuff. Oh yeah, there it goes. For those that don't know, brew is brew is what Linux people brought to the Mac OS operating system because we like our Linux commands that we knew on Linux, and we just wanted to use them. So, and we didn't want to use the native Mac commands. So somebody started the brew project to be able to run Linux commands on Mac OS. And there we go. So whole bunch of stuff got reused. Updated, and we're good there. So let's switch back over. And if you want to test it, go ahead and run Docker run hello world. And that works. So what actually happened here? I'm on a Mac. I'm running a virtual machine called inside a hypervisor called Colima, and that virtual machine is Linux. So it is. So I'm running Linux, a lightweight Linux VM on a Mac using a Docker runtime, so that I can do this project. And then, so you got to do brew install Colima. Colima is that lightweight Linux VM that has a Docker runtime in it. And then once you get that running, you just say Colima start, and the whole Docker runtime starts. So let's see what happens when we do that. I'm gonna stop some stuff. Like if I do a Docker PS right now, you can see I got a MarkLogic test database running called Dazzling Booth. Oh, and I need to increase this font size. Sorry. There we go. Is that big enough? Can y'all see that? Oops. Are you still with me? Okay, good. All right, there we go. So I want to stop this. So I am not a doctor, but I play one on TV. I think it's, yeah, there we go. So now if I do Docker PS, yeah, I got nothing running. So now I can do a backwards search for Colima, and I'm looking for this. So to get a really complete environment, I want to do a Colima stop. That just kind of suspends the VM, but Colima deletes everything that you had configured before. So that'll get us to a good clean slate. And it says, "Are you sure you really want to do this?" Yes. And that got rid of my MarkLogic, all my MarkLogic stuff, which was just test stuff, and then whatever I had before to get this all running. All right, so now I can run Colima start. Da-da-da. The runtime is Docker, creating and starting. It's giving us some messages. And I'm not sure I have everything that I need, so I'm going to do another reverse search and just make sure. Colima start. Yeah, I know I just ran that. Oh, that one says I want 6 gigs of memory instead of the default 2 gigs. I think I'm okay. Yeah, I didn't have to do that for Linux from scratch. Well, maybe I did. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is the one. I wanted 4 CPUs. Dash capital V means volumes, and I want to be able to write to repos directory. So let's run this again and clean up again. Yes, I'm sure I want to stop. Okay. Let me do a research. There we go. And boom. So yeah, this W flag right here ensures that you can write that the Docker container can write to the /repos directory, which is on a separate volume. And obviously the CPU says I want 4 cores instead of the default 2 cores. Okay. All right. So now if I do Docker PS, I got nothing running, but Docker is running, so that's good. And then we go back to got Kalima started. Okay, now the Docker image. And all this goes into you can hit copy there. Oh, I'm sorry, I should put this into the chat so you can follow along. Sorry about that. Copy that. Go here and go to the chat. Type message. Yeah, that's me. All right. Okay. If anybody has a Mac and wants to catch up, I'll wait for you. But I think you're all on Linux. In which case, I can just charge right ahead. Hey, we got 2 Robert Lindsays today. I'm counting that. So Colug is bringing 3 people. All right. Switch back over. All right. So we need to use Docker to build the Linux from scratch because the build tools that come with Mac are not great for building Linux. It also containerizes the build so that it doesn't mess up your Mac. Yeah, that's the big thing right there. You want to have a completely separate environment from your a completely separate build environment from the actual that you're trying to build. So nothing gets, so your environment variables don't get messed up and all kinds of other stuff. So first we need to build a Docker image. So we go to the documents in the documents folder right there, which is just /D documents, and then you make a folder called Docker LFS. So let's just verify that we've done that. Documents, and I got a whole bunch of stuff. And we're looking for Docker LFS, and I don't see it. What? Did I see that right? Docker LFS. Oh, I put it under repos. Okay, sorry. All right, so if I go to repos repository, this is where I got all my repositories, and then I do a ls, and we got Docker LFS right there. Okay. Notice I also have a Linux directory that I'll be using to build stuff, and then I also have a BusyBox directory that has the BusyBox source code, which we'll also be using. And BusyBox's whole deal right here is to emulate the Beyond Linux from Scratch project that you get to do after you build Linux on the real Linux from scratch. But yeah, it'll take you 2 days to to just do this, and then you'll be like, oh well, okay, where's all my tools? And well, your tools won't be there because you got that's extra. You got to do the Beyond Linux from scratch. So that's what BusyBox provides for us. So we kind of jump into Lightspeed and being able to do a very small distribution, your own bespoke Linux from scratch. Okay, so well, it's CD to Docker LFS, and what did it tell us to do? To make a folder. Yep, and we're there. In here, make another folder called Docker file and copy the following into it. That's not right. That's a lie. What he meant to say is make a file. No, okay, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make another file. Let's correct that right off the bat. File call. Yeah, there we go. And copy the following. That's good. All right, commit changes. Yes, it's commit to the main branch. Yes, okay, we're fine. All right, I already fixed something. So we copy that into the Docker file, and I already did that. So let's cat the Docker file, and boom, there we go. This is what we want to have inside the Docker file. So these are all the stuff you want if you're going to build Linux from scratch. You need fake root, build essential, and curses. XZ is compression utilities. LibSSL makes you secure. BC is the basic calculator. Flex. I'm not sure what Flex is. LibElf is the, I think, extended linking format that Linux uses, and then Bison is I believe it's a compiler or a linker or one of the two, and then CPIO does a lot of copying of IO. So you need all that stuff, and then and so yeah, all this is going to go into the container that we're going to use to build Linux, and then it runs apt-get install and installs QEMU, which is a what did I just don't do that. Don't do that. Escape. Control C. There we go. Okay. QEMU is runs VMs for you. In Arch, this architecture is the Mac architecture, which is Arch Linux ARM 64. Not Arch Linux. ARM architecture is 64. Yeah. ARM is just a chip company that the Mac runs on. And then we got Vim as an editor, and Nano is also an editor. So you can use either one of those. If you're not familiar with one, you can use the other. All right, let's go back. We got our Docker file. This is exactly the right requirements to build Linux from scratch. Yes. Now we need to build a Docker image. Inside Docker LFS folder, run the following command. Copy that. Docker build platform Linux ARM 64-T Linux dev. That's what we're naming it. And then that means build it in the current directory. And I already copied it, so let's go ahead and do that. And it's gonna build. I'm in a meeting.
Come on.
You want me to get out of my meeting? I got kids trying to play video games next to me.
Georgie, I'm watching a video.
Get your foot off. They can see this, you know.
Fine. The camera can see it.
Okay, so I forgot how long this runs. I think this is the one that's going to run 60 or 20 minutes. It's a fast Mac. It's an M3 Mac, but still, it's gonna take a while. So, if we have any business to discuss about, well, Southeast Linux Fest coming up in June. We can talk about that. First of all, is it still happening? I assume it's happening. I haven't heard anything that it's not.
Yeah, Ben, I saw that it's at a new location this year.
Really?
It's not Sheridan. Yeah.
I remember we had it at that one place.
Yeah, it's not
Another
there yet.
hotel.
Is it still on the Greenville side of Charlotte? 'Cause that would be.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy tries to get it close to the airport, so it's yeah.
What's the date?
My goodness. I swear, the third time I got disconnected.
So
You got disconnected?
Yeah, this is the third time. I don't know what's going on. It might be because I have 5 kids gaming at the same time.
Mm.
wait, what? April 9th through 12th.
April 9th through 12th?
Let me go back.
Oh.
What's that?
Oh wait, I gotta share my screen again. I think.
Other fest.
Oh yeah, no, the Southeast Leather Fest is a completely different thing.
Not the same thing.
June 12th or 14th.
That'll be the equivalent of the Grand Hotel.
Screen share. Okay, so we're back. Am I back? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
It should be done pretty soon, right?
Yeah, it's okay. It's done. Look at that.
Yeah.
View build
It's
detail.
just building the container. There's nothing really compiled. It's just packages.
Yeah. All right. So let's just keeping on with the script. Go back to. I don't know why I keep dropping out, but oh wait, this will now take a. We haven't built it. Oh yeah, it did. Okay, it did build it. Take a while to build a Docker image depending on your internet speed and the chip you have. Okay, downloading the sources. We need to download the sources, including the Linux kernel and BusyBox. I did that. So I already showed you those folders. It warns us that if the builds fail, you can always re-download the stable version from there and BusyBox from there. BusyBox has some bugs though that I have fixed in my directories, and I will show you what you have to fix. Okay, so starting the Docker container. Now we need to start the Docker container. Go to Docker LFS folder and make a run.shell and copy the following into it. Through Docker run interactive.
Teletype.
Huh?
That's a TTY. Teletype.
Oh, Delta. Okay. Good. I was going to say something else. It's got to be privileged. It has the capability of sysadmin, specifies 2 CPUs, and uses a platform of Linux ARM 64. I'm not using 2 CPUs. I changed that to 4. So, yeah, I'll just do a. Oops, that's not matching. All right, come on back. What am I looking at? Privilege. I can search. Oh no, I can search for Cezanne. All right, there we go. What? I know I ran this. Oh, maybe I ran a clear and lost my history. Linux links. Well, let me copy this. I still don't believe it. Tucker Run. Not Mark Logic. Obviously, I ran a. Ooh. Nope. Nope, not that one. Ran an Alpine image as a test. Oh, that's funny. Saved a whole bunch of stuff, but not that one. Oh, that.
I don't think you have it. Just
I don't think
paste.
I do. Yeah. All right. So let me just. Then we just got it. I'll change the CPUs. Control C. All right. Lost my copy. All right. Here we go.
That's neat. Your prompt will show a red arrow if it's a non-zero exit code, but a green arrow if it's zero. That's
I'm glad you noticed that. What am I doing wrong here? Okay, I'm copying. Do I have to hold the shift key down when I'm paste? Shift Control V. That's not even the one. All right, Control C.
Yeah, just right click and do paste.
Let me try that. Thank you. Right click. There we go. Okay. And we'll hide. Oh, dirty dog. Change the CPUs to 4. That'll make it build faster. And I know I have on a Mac they separate CPUs by system and performance CPUs, and apparently I have 4 performance CPUs, so that's like the max I can set this. Okay, and the V there says I've got a volume called Documents Linux, and another volume for BusyBox, and the colon separates my local file system from the container. So in the container, you'll see /BusyBox and you'll see /Linux. All right. See if it works. Password. Showing enough passwords today. Hey, look at that. I am root on this container. And if I do a ls root, you'll see we've got the BusyBox directory and we've got the Linux directory. Awesome. Oh, I failed the redirections.
You need to skip that second.
I guess it
Yeah,
doesn't
just-
matter.
Just skip the run.sh because that's essentially you're running.
Yeah, I just did. I'm sure it'll bite me later. All right, you're now going to get Docker container. Please check the following before continuing. This is what I did not check before. Check if you are in ARM64 by running uname-m. All right. -m AR64. Awesome. And it should say, yep, there it is right there. If it doesn't, you're not in ARM64 mode. You need to restart the Docker container and check if Linux ARM64 is on and you start that shell. Is that right? Did we even define this? Or is
I
he?
think change the name from run that shell to start that shell.
Yeah, okay. I'll fix that later. I promise. All right, important. And also check if the Linux and BusyBox folders are mounted correctly by running ls Linux and ls BusyBox. We already did that. It should list the contents of the folders. If it doesn't, then you need to restart the Docker container and check if the paths are correct in the start.shell or run.shell. All right, so we can list.
The paths are wrong. You have one of the documents where you put it in the repos.
Did you hear that?
No, what did I do?
The paths are wrong. You have it pointed tilde documents, but you changed it to tilde repos.
Oh, okay.
You just exit out and then up and change the documents to repos. Should work. You have to exit out.
Yeah, Control D. Okay, I'm out. Should be no. Okay, yeah. All right. Let's run through that again. Okay. Glad you caught that. I think yeah. Oh, there's another one. Okay. It's gonna work. Yes.
Here we go.
Yes. Oh man, so glad that worked. Okay. Now we need to build a Linux kernel. CD to Linux, make menu config. CD to /Linux. And we do a make menu, and this is where I had to fix a bug last time, but I fixed it, so this should just work. Yep. Okay. Well, I think it's still working. So general set. So this is the whole reason why you might want to build your own kernel, because general setup, blah blah blah. You can disable any of the stuff that you don't really want. And in platform selection, all this was selected before. Every single one of these. I mean, I don't use Keen-Bay system on a chip. I don't use MediaTek stock family. The only thing I'm using is this. No, Pensando. What? That might be a mistake.
You're not even using that, are you?
There's no way. All right. That's going to change that. Okay. Okay, that's the only one I'm using. ARM limited platforms. So I can go ahead and save and write this to the .config file in the Linux directory. And it will tell me that my configuration was written to config. Thank you very much. And I can tab and go down to exit and exit. And exit there. All right. And if we wanted to